project that I'm excited about working on, and I wrote briefly about it, but I would like to explain it in my own words because I always think it's good to explain in addition to writing. Something similar to scientists going to meetings and conferences and presenting their results in their own words. This is a project about studying the genetic determinants of alcohol addiction, alcohol preference, in alcohol-preferring minds, and how I came to design this project and what I would like to do with it. Why am I presenting it to you? I have a long-standing interest in addiction because I have studied dopamine receptors and because I'm a psychiatrist and a neuroscientist, and because addiction is a big problem in society and new treatments are needed. I have trained in the theoretical basis of addiction and have attended a facet course on addiction. I have also attended meetings of the Research Society of Alcoholism when I was a research scientist at the Scripps Research Institute, 2007 to 2008, and I even became a member of the Research Society on Alcoholism. And because of my interest to study addiction and develop new treatments, I attended a Cold Spring Harbor laboratory course on neurobiology of addiction in August 2009, which was an excellent course with many lectures about addiction, different aspects. And how I developed this project, when I went to work at the Scripps Research Institute, I wanted to study addiction, and I studied alcohol and cocaine addiction. The model in the lab was rats, but I cannot work with rats, and I wanted to design a project to work with mice. And I became interested in the alcohol preference because I read that a certain protein that I was studying is a fellow in neuroscience at Albert Einstein College of Medicine is altered in the brain of mice with alcohol preference. And so I got excited about this and I wanted to study it. And I designed a project which combines my studies as a fellow in neuroscience at Albert Einstein College of Medicine on synaptic plasticity involving glutamate receptors and MAP1B and alcohol preference in mice. And to design this project, which is written like a grant with background and significance, with research design and methods, which are written in great detail with different possible outcomes and troubleshooting. I trained at the Scripps Research Institute with Dr. Amanda Roberts, who was managing the mouse behavioral core. I trained in alcohol-preferring mice. And I also asked two leading experts in addiction. First, Professor George Kuhl, who was actually, I think, the director of the Alcohol Research Center where I was working at the time. I asked him to review this plan and he approved it with some minor comments. And I also asked Professor Noboru Hiroi, who was managing the fellows in neuroscience when I was at Albert Einstein College of Medicine, to review this plan, and he also approved it. And so, briefly, the plan is to study the genetic determinants of alcohol addiction in alcohol-preferring mice, focusing on glutamate receptors in this protein that I was studying and that I have published on. And I wrote this study in great detail so that I can apply for funding with it. And I applied for assistant professor in many places, but this was a time when there was a hiring freeze during the recession, and I had letters and responses that the universities are not hiring. And so time went by, and I found a job as a research associate at Hunter College in neurodevelopmental disorders, and started working on neurodevelopmental disorders. But this is a very detailed plan, and I think that it would give very good results that would have therapeutic value. I'm very experienced in all of the methods that I have included in the plan, which include molecular biology, immunocytochemistry. There are also behavioral methods, antisense methods, and newer methods such as optogenetics can be included. And I have also collected all of the references in alcohol-preferring mice. And now when I'm searching for a job, I thought when I read again this detailed plan, which is written like a grant, with references, perhaps I can propose to a more senior investigator who has funding to sponsor me their lab or a pharmaceutical company to set up this project and to get results. And after 1 year, I could apply for funding, because this is a lot of effort and it would be a waste for so much effort just to stay and not be explored if it has any potential. And this is why I would like to propose either to an investigator or to a pharmaceutical company who are interested in studying the neurobiology of addiction with focus on alcohol addiction and the genetic determinants of alcohol addiction. If they would like to discuss this with me further, I have the detailed plan developed, and I could start the methods in the study provided they sponsor me and provide funding for these studies. I'm very experienced in working with mice, and when I was at the Zuckerman Mind-Brain Behavior Institute in my last job, I worked with 4 different transgenic mouse models in addition with normal mice, and I did hundreds of stereotoxic injections in brain and haven't lost not even one mouse due to a procedure. Therefore, I'm very careful and detail-oriented. And if you would like to discuss this plan further with me, my email is included in the message. Please contact me through LinkedIn or through email, and I'm happy to discuss this further with you. Perhaps